Hi, thanks for joining me today. I'm Ivory, and today's topic is vivid dreams. Before I begin, a special hello to my listeners in Cairo, Egypt. Thank you for being here. I love knowing that you're listening to the show, and if there's a topic you'd be interested in hearing about, please let me know. I'm always open to suggestions. Let's jump into this. I have a lot of information to cover today on this topic of vivid dreams. Have you ever had a dream that feels just as real or maybe even more real than your waking life? I'm going to start this by telling you all of my dreams are as real, at least as real as my waking life. So even as a young child, around 4 years old, things would happen in my dreams. And I would ask my mom about it, and she'd say, that never happened. And I'd say, oh, that must have been in my other life. And she was like, what are you talking about? And I can remember one vivid one where at that age, I dreamed that I woke up on Christmas morning and there was a pile of wrapped presents on the floor at the base of my bed. When I actually woke up the next day and there were no presents, I was crying. And she came in, what's wrong? Where's all my presents? They're downstairs. I said, no, the ones that were in here. She's like, there weren't any presents in here. They're downstairs under the tree as usual. And that's a very vivid memory, but it's been like that my whole life. And so the last thing I'll tell you about will be what my personal experience has been about extra vivid dreams. But I want to jump into this. How dreams can be so vivid that you can feel things, you can touch things, you feel a breeze on your face, you can smell scents. It's very difficult to tell that from being awake. So whether or not you've experienced any particular vivid dreams recently, just take a few minutes to listen to these different reasons why this might be happening for you. So number one, you have unhealed emotional wounds. The first spiritual meaning of vivid dreams could be you're reliving an old trauma in your dream. Emotional wounds are leftover fragments of experiences that were very real to us during our life. For us to survive in the world, we must overcome these old wounds and move on with our lives. But sometimes we can't move on from an experience immediately after, usually not immediately after the fact. It takes time. And some of our experience can be so traumatic that they remain deeply buried within the dark recess of our subconscious mind. They hide within the shadows of our soul, waiting patiently to be uncovered and treated by us personally to heal them inside and out. Sometimes it's easier to explore that in your dreams. It's not as painful. It's like you're removed emotionally and you can watch it happening. And even if it's upsetting in the dream, you'll know it's a dream. So feel free to explore your dreams for such experiences that might relate to traumas in your life. The next thing is you're feeling intellectually stifled. That's another reason you might be having vivid dreams. According to the dictionary, the vivid dream is one that is a realistic image in the mind. What makes a dream vivid is the fact that it seems more real than reality. And I think sometimes it's just more real than the average dream. To put it in a different way, it means you're dreaming and experiencing an event that seems very real. Vivid dreams seem to really follow us. We may even feel like our imaginations have become too strong for us and we can no longer control them. Things are happening in your dreams you don't want to happen. Also known as constant waking imagination. This can cause us intense worry about what our vivid dreams mean. They don't always mean anything. And since most of them feature some sort of intellectual stimulation, our minds start to rebel against the fact that there really isn't anything out of the ordinary going on around us at all. So we need excitement. We need to get out of the rut. It's just kind of your mind telling you, you need to broaden your life, have an adventure, go on a trip, meet new people. You can also notice that that feeling disappears when you begin to dream more regularly. It could be due to the fact that your mind needs some time out of the real life drama and you need to get back into your world of imagination. One thing that can really help that, if that's the case for you, is stimulating your creativity. Writing, painting, drawing, taking a class, anything creative. Here's some good news. You can seek the answer through your dream world. They can come as hints in your dream world to personal questions, and you can even look forward to your dream world as a possible means of healing yourself through spiritual release and soul expansion if you're willing to explore these vivid dreams more fully. Number 3, you feel unaccepted or unwelcome in your life situation. Have you ever arrived at a new place to live or to a job only to realize that you don't feel welcome there? And sometimes, honestly, I've had clients that had this happen when they realize they don't feel welcome or accepted in their own family or their current circle of friends. So a vivid dream can be described as a dream that totally consumes you and makes you feel like you're really there. It's actually happening. This may seem like an extremely minor detail, but usually it has a powerful impact on the way we feel about ourselves in the future. Not only do we sometimes feel like we're not truly appreciated by our family and friends, but it can also have a huge impact on our belief system as well, how we feel about ourselves. Our alienation from our world may leave us feeling very lonely and wanting love in our life. And that doesn't just mean romantic love, but love from anyone. So when you have vivid dreams about people in your life that you no longer recognize, that you may mean you are remembering past relationships through a new and more colorful lens. Or it could be you're trying to find yourself by embracing the new person in your life at this present time. Sometimes the people, the faces you see are not the real faces of the people you're dreaming about, in other words. Sometimes these dreams are representative of situations as well, not literal. So in other words, things are not always as they seem. It's important to be open-minded about our relationships with people and with places, even if we literally feel alienated from them. Number 4, you need creative inspiration. This thing is not relevant to the meaning of having a vivid dream, surely. Oh yes, some of you are thinking that, but it could be. Vivid dreams do not necessarily always mean you're inspired to be creative, but they do sometimes play a major part in the way creativity manifests itself in your life. On the other hand, there are also many people who have no need for any artistic inspiration. They say they dreamed of a plain white room and then go on to create their own vision of their favorite place in the world, or they dream of something completely different, yet it still inspires them to create something wonderful. So one thing is definitely true. In our lives, we all have both creative and non-creative ways of expressing ourselves. But what is important is not whether we're inspired by a dream, but whether or not we choose to work with whatever inspiration we might receive from it. I have gotten great ideas. There was a period of time for about 5 or 6 years where I would dream lyrics to songs or the music for songs. I'd wake up and run to my piano in the living room and write it down before I forget. And I actually have quite a few of them recorded on a CD I have available on my website. Those were given to me in dreams. And I would ask people in my daughter friends, have you ever heard this song? Does this sound familiar? And they're like, no, should it? I'm like, good. Because I wanted to make sure I wasn't dreaming about a song that I heard somewhere, but it was actually something original. And it was. Number 5, you are aware of past lives in your dreams. I've had those. As I've mentioned before, it can sometimes be difficult to distinguish whether a dream you have is real or not. But if you feel like you're remembering past lives through your dreams, there's a good chance those are real memories. As it turns out, there are a lot of ways which our conscious and subconscious minds can be triggered to produce vivid visions from our past. Sometimes we even see ourselves as we were some years ago, or we are given a glimpse into the life we have lived in past lives. And I mean the one we were just born into. So I'm going to tell you 2 things I dreamed about hundreds of times as a very young child. The first one was I was a Hispanic man and I was chunky and I was wearing a serape and I'm on top of this desolate mountain range trying to pull. I've got a donkey on a rope and I'm trying to get that donkey to stand up and walk and it just won't. And it's so hot and dry and I'm getting so mad at that donkey because it won't get up. So I dreamed about that over and over and over. And then the other one that was much more disturbing to me was I dreamed that I was a man and I lived on I lived near at the ocean, and I had brown skin, and I was very thin, and I was wearing like a white diaper kind of garment. I don't know what those are called. Please forgive me. And I had turban. I could feel it on my head. And at the moment of my dream, what I dreamed over and over and over is I'm looking over my left shoulder at a giant tidal wave, a tsunami coming in. I mean, it's 100 feet high at least. Everyone in this village is running up this hill, screaming, and we're running and scrambling as fast as we can. And the top of that tidal wave starts to curl over. And I know I'm about to die, and there's nothing I can do about it. I started having that dream when I was about 2.5, and I dreamed it until I was about 8 years old, hundreds of times. So I didn't know at that time that that was a past life, but I have explored that, and it is how I died in a past life. So you may have had something similar to that. There's something about like leaving childhood for most of us, those dreams about past lives will go away, but sometimes you meet a person and it stimulates those old memories and you might dream of it. But there's more to this. Maybe you have an urge to find out more about your past lives, and that's actually a good sign. The urge to do so means you're very eager to learn more about yourself, and this is in line with the fact that a vivid dream can be kind of a gateway to learning about your own past lives. For example, if you have the urge to know more about your childhood, your parents when they were children, it could be helpful for you to look into the possibility that they might have been someone else to you in your past life. You know how you reincarnate with the same people, but different roles. Number 6, meeting your spirit guides or guardian angel, or actually any of your angels. Another spiritual meaning of vivid dreams is you might be meeting one of these entities. For example, you might have the vision of someone you've never met in your life before, and then an eagerness to meet them strikes you when suddenly that person appears beside you in your dream. This might also be the case if someone who is very important to you appears in a dream and will only be seen by those who are lucky enough to see that person again after waking up. In this sense, it does not necessarily mean there was any importance attached to their appearance, but rather that they appeared because of a destiny they'd been born into and wanting to convey some important message to you. I've asked the same question regarding my own angels, and I've asked my master guide if I'd ever been guided by him before, and he said many lifetimes. And honestly, I've heard that from quite a few people's master guides or guardian angels. They tend to have them for many lifetimes. So your guardian angel or master guide and spirit guides, especially guardian angel, may have been with you for a very long time. Number 7, discovering your mission in life. You might find your own mission when you have a vivid dream. And I know many of you are actively seeking that information right now. So this can be a way of helping you see what you're destined to do in this lifetime. These visions that come from the depths of your subconsciousness may occur after you've experienced or felt something specific or been thinking about certain subjects for some time. God knows, your higher power knows, your angels, your guides know that you're looking for your purpose. These things might include anything that relates to your physical appearance, the future of a subject, long-term plans. Try to spot any of the things and the images that pass before your eyes in a dream and see if it makes sense to you. It might help you to make a clear vision of your mission in life. And it might also help you to understand why certain situations are happening to you at this time. If it does, that's great. But if it doesn't, then that's something you can talk to with a spiritual counselor such as myself and help you sort that out. Being conscious of your purpose in life can help you to make sense of everything you are experiencing now and everything going on around you. This is something I found by my own experience. And I like sharing my experiences with you because I always hear from people that it helps them, that they experience something similar. Number 8, your self-worth is too low. Your self-esteem is low. One of the meanings of vivid dreams is a way for your energy to seek a higher level of self-worth, to love yourself more. When you're not sure about who you are and what kind of a person you want to be, your energy will go into the subconscious and ask for answers. Sometimes it brings up answers that will not make you feel satisfied, therefore leaving you feel low in yourself and even maybe depressed at times. This is sometimes caused by the lack of information that is given to us when we are young. We don't know where our purpose in life is, why we've been chosen by the universe and others, or why we've been having these dreams. We just wish to know why this happened to us, but there's nothing wrong with asking. Maybe it will help you find out if there's something else waiting for you outside of this in this world. In your vivid dreams, you may come across answers to these questions and more. You can find that you can fill your own inner desire with the things that seem to relate to you. It will be important to be aware of your reason for having a vivid dream in this situation, though. For example, your dream may include people who you think are friends, but in reality are not. You might be on a date with somebody that you don't like at all, or perhaps your dream might include some kind of tragedy. This can happen because in your subconscious, there are other things happening regarding the topic of this vivid dream. In this case, you can ask yourself, why have I been having these dreams? What is the meaning behind them? Number 9, something is about to change in your life. The truth is, no matter how much you think you are in control of your life, there are just some things that cannot be changed. For example, what is about to change? Why is this happening? Once again, because the unconscious mind may be asking these questions, and we should not take any sudden change in our lives in a negative way. Some of the changes that feel the worst when they happen, like getting fired, a relationship ending, later you can look back and see what a blessing it was, how it led you to something so much better or saved you, like you dodged a bullet. If something's been bothering you for a while, perhaps this will help you find the answer to a question. And by having vivid dreams, you'll be able to give your conscious mind the desire to make the changes necessary. But don't try to change everything too quickly, or you might set yourself up for failure in the future. Here are some tips to help you. Think about the changes that you want to make. If you're worried that special and unusual things will happen, think of a non-threatening example. Maybe your partner might buy a new car, or she might start a new job. Let's not jump to worst case scenario. Have faith in your dreams. They are there to help you find answers to questions that might be bothering you. Instead of asking why you had this or that dream, ask whether it could have been more helpful if it had been something else. Be certain that any change is completely necessary and good for both you and the people around you. Remember, everyone will not agree with it. When I first started seriously pursuing my spiritual journey, my spouse hated it and laughed at it. He was not on that journey at all. And later I had another partner who tolerated it, but they did not like my spiritual activities. But I knew what my path was, and I had to follow my path. Number 10, you're currently going through a growth spurt in your life. Vivid dreams help you to gain certain experiences that you need to grow. The main experience you will get from this kind of growth spurt is new information and self-knowledge. So I'm talking about a spurt forward, moving forward on your spiritual journey. For example, if you are young, dreaming may include meeting people you've never met before, pretending to live in different cities or countries, just sort of exploring your options. Other aspects of this growth might be more introspective, having a dream about your innermost desires, having a dream that describes how others see you or the way you feel about yourself. But the best part is these dreams can help you gain information about yourself, and that can help you understand yourself a lot better. There are 2 ways of doing it. You must want to understand your feelings, attitudes, and emotions a lot better. You have to be open to this. If you don't understand them yourself, then how can you expect another person to understand them? Another way is to write down all the things you want to know about your innermost self before starting your dream session with lucid dreaming techniques. And honestly, this is manifesting. So it's setting an intention. My intention is to get information about my life purpose. For example, if possible, base the explanation on reality. Perhaps ask your best friend or a family member who's already learned these things that have helped you in the past. The more you know about the dream, the more interesting and exciting it can be. Number 11, you're trying to understand something about yourself. If you're not sure of some aspect of yourself, vivid dreams will help you. And I can explain this a little bit better. Your dream might be a metaphor for something that you're trying to understand. So it could be symbolic. For example, if you'd like to understand the meaning of life, perhaps your dreams could repeat the same sequence of events over and over again until you get the message. If you're trying to understand what love is, then you dream about someone who loves you or is close to love. If you've been arguing with somebody repeatedly, but don't know what the reason was, you could have a dream that reveals it. Your mind will send you messages in such a way that they can make sense only when they're given meaning by some symbol in them. You need symbols to make sense of reality. Hence, vivid dreaming can help us with this purpose too. And I think back to when I was first training to be a professional medium, my mentor had me ask my main angels to provide me with symbols that I could use in my spiritual work. And I never had them before. And immediately I was dreaming them. I was getting them in meditation, and they would tell me what it meant. And I wrote them all down in my journal. So you could do that too. And yours cannot be for doing readings, but just for you in life, like a warning sign or a thumbs up sign that something or somebody is good for you, that kind of thing. But we tend to get stuck in a rut. Humans do, with the same patterns and habits, and we just repeat them over and over. Sometimes we don't even realize we're doing it. It's hard to free your mind from these habits and patterns. This is why we must find a way to be inebriated by fiction to break out of the rut. And along with some exercises like meditation and yoga, breathwork can really help. It's not only an easy technique, but it really does do wonders for your mind. Instead of thinking about the same thing repeatedly, you'll be able to be more flexible and creative by using the technique I'm going to share with you. And with the same technique, you'll be able to connect with the world of reality as well as the world of imagination and dreams in a new way. You'll be able to remember even the most abstract ideas and images you dream about. So here's my technique, and I use it for many situations, but it works for this as well. Sit in a quiet place. Make sure your legs and arms are not crossed. I personally like to have my feet flat on the floor. Breathe in slowly through your nose if you can. It's not critical. And then release the breath through your mouth in a long, slow hiss as long as you can. As you do this, you're focusing on your breathing, and then you gently release any other thoughts that come into your mind. You just notice them and release them. Do this at least 10 times. 10 long, deep breaths to fully relax your body and mind. It's very interesting how effective that is. And then you continue to breathe slowly and remain relaxed. At this point, you start to tune into any thoughts or images that come to your mind. At this time, these thoughts and images are more likely to be from outside of yourself rather than your own thoughts. So what I mean is they could be from angels, guides. They could be from your higher self, which is your soul, communicates with you as well. Number 12, you're in tune with your spirit guides. Many of us tend to ignore the fact we have angels and spirit guides. In some situations, it can be helpful, but when you're in a state of a vivid dream, you'll be able to talk with these entities, ask them questions, and compare the answers. Seeing the answer in a dream can be very helpful in understanding the situation better. After all, how can we understand what a spirit guide is if we don't interact with them? So I'm going to tell you, a spirit guide is a being who's been sent by your angels to help you with something specific in your life. They're with you as long as needed, and then they move on. They can be a deceased human, an ascended master, an interdimensional being, or an ultra-terrestrial. All of these beings are very high frequency and have the best and highest good in mind for you. Your spirit guides and angels will appear in your dreams. Just remember to keep an open mind while you're having a dream. Your spirit guide and angels are there to help you, never to harm you. You may be wondering whether an angel or a spirit guide will ever appear to you. The answer is yes. And sometimes they won't look the way you think. The first time I saw my master guide angel, he was in human form. He never said a word, but it was so vivid and so intense and such an incredible experience that I remember every bit of it vividly many years later. Even those who are already dead can still appear to give valuable information. I've had that happen with deceased spirit. And there are times when they can even show their presence in the form of symbols that, again, we're back on symbols that can represent things for you. So I'm going to continue this conversation over on Patreon. We're out of time today, but I'll continue on Patreon. And remember that you can join for a week free. You don't need to pay a thing to join and check it out and see all of the exclusive content I have posted there. You can watch this podcast ad-free. It's the only place you can watch it ad-free. You can watch the extensions. I have classes, quizzes, videos, live events. Check it out for free for 7 days. I'd love to share that with you. I'm having a blast over there. And tune in next Sunday. My topic is cutting spiritual ties. I'm sure you've heard about cutting ties with people, cutting the cords. I'm going to tell you how to dissolve the cords, which is something that was taught to me years ago, and it's been much more effective. We're going to talk about why that's necessary, how it can harm you not to do it, and what you achieve by doing it, as well as specifically how to do it. So I look forward to sharing that with you. In the meantime, may your angels surround you. May your angels protect you every moment, every day of your life. I'll see you next week.